Alrighty. We're here to talk about Hall of Shame.
Our favorite topic, steroids.
Steroids, yeah. So I'm gonna.
What are steroids? Is that your Anavar?
It's a bottle of ZMA from Snack, SNAC. This is the big product that came out of BALCO.
What's snack?
For everyone.
What's snack?
He said what it stood
He
for.
said what it stood.
Sports.
Scientific nutrition for advanced
Cucks.
Yeah, he couldn't come
conditioning.
He couldn't come in with a
Close.
K. Conditioning and kicking ass or something.
I don't know. I don't know. Hey, it was.
He's smart, but I don't know if he's the branding guy.
It was the early aughts. I mean,
That's
you know.
true. How crazy is that? Like ZMA, which is highly touted now.
It's a Kleenex.
Efficacy is but it came about in 2000. It's pretty new.
Yeah, I remember because I was on the T-Nation forums back in that day, and everyone was just fucking head over heels for this shit.
But was it because
was
it's relation to steroids and Conte?
Oh,
it
yeah.
was a CBD effect.
It was.
Yeah. It's exactly like CBD, right?
We were talking. Dean and I were talking just like while you went out for a
Potty.
minute.
To shit my
Potty.
brains out.
Yeah, whatever you were doing.
I was just peeing.
Rubbing one out.
Yeah, I got so excited about the podcast.
That ZMA probably makes a difference for people who have zinc or magnesium deficiencies. I don't think it does anything for anybody else other than it will make you shit.
Yeah, I mean that's all. Yeah, magnesium, but all minerals, vitamins, any micronutrient doesn't have an added benefit. It just has a hit your limit benefit or a negative.
Yeah.
Right. So people are overdosing on all these D3s and B12s and overdosing on anything. Your body just can't even absorb it. You just have to hit your recommended limit, and then you won't have a deficiency. But there's no super max levels.
You can carry very high levels apparently if you don't clear stuff. Because I was taking some B12 for a while there, and then the last time I had my blood work done, my B12 was like 600 times normal or something like that.
I think it's a lot of Americans because it's in energy drinks. It's in like they infuse into our fucking bread. It's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at the back of a 5-hour energy?
Yeah, it's just B12.
It's literally like
billion.
70,000% of your B12 for the daily. Yeah, it's like literally all B12.
Yeah.
Good
and people
Lord.
take B12 shots. I'm like, dude, that's not what you're like.
Well, that was huge in the MLB.
Yeah.
Was the B12 injectables.
Yeah.
That's what Andrew Rodriguez said he was shooting up. But like a lot of those guys were shooting up B12.
For sure.
For sure. And
How
steroids.
fucking jacked is Jose Canseco?
He was so sick, Jack.
It
dude.
looked like he had
so good.
Dude, it looked like he had a toothpick at the plate.
Yeah.
He had a toothpick.
Maguire too.
And
Maguire's pretty big.
Giambi?
Maguire,
Jason Giambi?
Maguire
Giambi
didn't
was-
look as good, at least the footage they had there, because his head was kind of small. Like, Canseco looked like the baseball player you're choosing in a video game.
Yeah, Canseco was sick, dude. He was so sick looking. There's that classic picture of Canseco and Maguire where they're just together, and you're like, these guys look sick.
Yeah, the literal body. Because there's other athletes, Lance Armstrong's, and obviously he's more on EPO, but a bunch of people with PEDs. Even that sprinter.
LeBron.
LeBron looked fucking sick at 285, but these guys literally look like IFBBs.
Yeah.
Even Barry didn't look that crazy. Barry was jacked.
Yeah.
But the Jose and Maguire, even Sammy Sosa, look good. But those guys literally look like IFBBs. They look like Kai Green and fucking Brian Shaw. It was actually stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, then the pitchers were taking it, and they were getting super big, too.
Yeah, light them up.
Clemens. Yep. Even more recently, what's his name? He's the closer. Dominican guy, super jacked, like stupid jacked.
There's just no way.
He was pitching for the Yankees. He throws like 107. I can't think of his name.
I don't know shit about baseball.
Great pitcher. Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah. He was. There was a picture of him in like training camp with this cutoff on. You're like, oh, this dude can do a bodybuilding show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just huge.
How tall is he? Like 6'1", 6'2"?
Oh no, like 6'4".
Just a giant.
But like looks like he weighs 350 pounds.
Because you see some in the NFL, right? Like you look at Myles Garrett, and I think some of that could be, it's potentially possible natural. I'm not saying he is, but
he got suspended, Chapman.
Yeah, you know what I mean though. But like you see some, and I don't want to play the race card, but I ain't looking like that. And
well, let's just say that there are people who have a genetic makeup that allows them to carry lower body fat than the rest of us and build muscle a little faster than the rest of us. And so they have a particular look to them, and some of them have more of an
and
of an ethnic background than a different.
Yeah, when you got a little more melanin in your skin, sometimes your muscle bellies are just a little bubblier, and that just happens. You know, that's just genetics. So like Myles Garrett's probably 260, 6'4", 6'5", but then he moves like LeBron, you know, and he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. So you're like, all right, that could be done natural, because you hear the argument of Lance Armstrong and even the McGuires. Everyone says like, well, I was just doing what everyone else was doing. I just got caught. But I don't know if that's true. Like, we'll never know. Like, then why isn't everyone getting caught?
I think it's legit. I think if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 50-50.
You think 50% of, let's say, MLB, NFL, NBA is a little different because, like, pure strength, not that it will always be better. You're always better, stronger than weak. But, like, pure strength, this won't take you as far. But clearly with hitting, if you already have your stroke down, you have your timing down, being stronger is only going to help.
Yeah, well, that was Barry Bonds.
Right? Yeah, like, he's so good. If you can just get your hips to turn that much faster and stronger, you're gonna blast that shit.
He was also
football clearly, right? Football clearly, you're hitting humans all day. Being stronger is only gonna help. Sprinting is literally how much force you can put into the ground.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be better. Long jump, all of that. It's literally just force. Basketball gets a little weird. Soccer gets a little weird. It's probably walks more towards that line of EPO,
recovery
or
based.
HGH, right? If you're less beat up, if your shoulders feel a little better, your knees feel a little better. You know, being stronger won't hurt, but it's not an effort thing to get the ball in the rim.
No, it's more of a finesse. But like, how am I feeling like I didn't even play compared to somebody who's gassed?
Yeah, and in the fourth quarter, if you feel like the first quarter, you're going to be a little more accurate.
I think all of sports combined into one, probably like, if I had to guess, 60% not, 40% on. All sports combined.
Yeah, I think if you start to separate
to some level, but when you're like talking about NFL, I think it's probably like 70%.
I was gonna say, are you going to track and field?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Track and field, you're talking like
maybe 70, 80
at the peak of like, or the top percentage of the top 20% guys. I would say most of them.
Jim, you want to give us just like a 30-second what BALCO is before we just dive into steroids? What the whole BALCO?
And now we're just ranting about steroids.
I know, but it's good because it is so related. But
so BALCO is a company that was started by Victor Conte in the Bay Area in the late 90s.
Yeah, what'd they say, 95 or something?
Yeah, it ran for 20 years. So, so late 90s, mid to late 90s. That was based around trying to optimize athletes' like labs, basically. And
blood work.
Yeah, sounded nutritionally is where his even though he doesn't even have a background. Sounds like he was just a studious man.
So he
hops into the library, learns everything he can about performance and nutrition.
Yeah, they call an autodidact, people who taught themselves. He definitely, and I think he sought out people who were experts in the field or whatever.
Yeah, he talked about hanging out with bodybuilders and talking about hanging out with other, like Barry Bonds' coach, and what was the big track, Marion Jones' coach.
Yeah, Greg Anderson and Marion Jones' coach's name I can't remember right now.
So he probably picks up some shit there.
And if you believe Conte, they didn't get involved in steroids or, technical CBS is going to get the door. Technically, like performance-enhancing drugs, not performance-enhancing interventions, but
illegal ones.
Yeah, not illegal drugs. Until kind of late in the run, really.
Yeah, he said 2001. I think is what he said.
Yeah, which tracks. Victor Conte was a bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why'd he throw out, maybe this is just me being a music head, he threw out Tower of Power.
That's the one he's known most for.
But the video showed Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, which is a big deal. Yeah.
Herbie Hancock's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you know music, Herbie Hancock's fucking Prince. Like, that dude's a fucking...
But, yeah, Conte is a little bit of a child of the 70s and 80s, and Tower of Power a bigger deal. Tower of Power is much bigger in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and Herbie's
where it came from.
Yeah, and Herbie's like more jazz funk. He's not on the radio, and Tower of Power's you go to the club and they're playing them.
Yeah, exactly.
The disco, I guess.
Exactly. So that was BALCO. They people came to them. They recruited athletes, whatever, to be involved in their program. They did tons of labs or whatever.
Most famously baseball, yeah? Like on the public eye, like you said.
That kind of sounded. Oh, I guess.
Well, Romanowski.
Yeah.
So football.
True. But I feel like when the world, like moms or whatever, you say, oh, BALCO, like, oh, when
They
like,
think
that
about
was
Barry
Sammy
Bonds.
Sosa, Bonds, yeah.
Yeah.
Bonds, I think, was on the cover of the BALCO book. I think.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like-
and
Because
or it
he's
was
the,
like an orange and black themed book or whatever.
he's the question mark, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know he never actually got caught.
Oh, he never got. That's
No,
the
he
other
ne-
argument for the Hall of Fame is that he's never been.
He's never been
convicted
caught
of anything.
but they never put him there, and he still holds the home run records where Sosa and them do not, right?
Because it's because he.
No, I in the top 10, I think they ripped them off.
No.
no, they're all still there.
No, they're all
McGuire's still there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, baseball has never made that there's like they talk about asterisks around things,
But that's just
but
the
there's
culture.
no physical asterisk at all.
I didn't know that. I thought there was.
That's the thing with when Babe Ruth's record was broken. Like the movie about that is 61 asterisk, but there's never been actual asterisk, and the big deal there was not about drugs, but
Gambling or something?
no, they lengthened the season.
Oh, yeah. That's all fair, because football's the same, right? Football lengthened the season, so like if
Does
you
LeBron not get a title in the bubble because it was a shorter season?
Yeah, they asterisk that one. They asterisk rushing records in the NFL because you get 4 more games,
Yeah.
which I agree with that asterisk. If I do 2,000 yards running in 6 games and you do 2,110 games,
Yeah.
I'll whoop that ass.
I think you just like, yeah, maybe there's just like a post 2003 record.
100%. I'm all fine with that. If you start looking like Canseco and McGuire, and we can't put a physical asterisk on there, I've seen some dudes crank some balls that look like me and you, Dean. We don't look like McGregor.
No,
Or not McGregor, McGuire.
no.
Those guys look fucking insane.
They were enormous. They were huge. But I mean, at the time, being a big baseball fan at the time, you were of kind of two minds about it. Particularly me, because like I knew about BALCO from T Nation, which the T in T Nation is testosterone. They were very much behind the idea of performance enhancement for whatever legal or
T
illegal
Nation?
purpose.
Yeah. I wasn't like a user, but
I was pretty deep. I learned a lot there.
They had, I mean, some important people came out of there for sure.
Yeah, Wendler got really popular there.
Yeah.
Ben Bruno. Everyone got a big start there.
Cressy.
Yeah, Cressy. A lot of guys not on steroids got a big boost there.
Yeah.
The Bruno. Yeah, because he's the Conte of nowadays, not drug related.
No.
But he's training everybody from every sport.
Yeah. He's kind of the latter day version of what's his name? I'm blanking. Just moved to Tennessee. Used to strength coach for the Lakers, not anymore. Friend of Jen Wiederstrom.
Oh, I didn't know.
Gunnar
he moved
Peterson.
I didn't know he moved to Tennessee.
Yep, he moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
He's kind of the latter day training people from home version of Gunnar Peterson.
Yeah.
And actually, when I met them together. So, anyway,
That's BALCO.
So you wanted to believe on the one hand that like there were advances in nutritional science and in training that would yield results that we hadn't seen before on a regular basis.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you wanted to believe that, and to a certain degree, that was true.
Yeah. I just think the percent is overdone unless you're in the industry and know.
And then on the other hand, you're like, it's probably steroids.
Yeah.
But how do I feel about that? And like largely, I didn't care.
I've brought it up a lot of
I
times.
think most people didn't care.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's the only baseball I watched. I've never been a baseball fan, but I'm fucking watching Sammy Sosa and McGuire go crazy. I'm collecting the newspapers. Like, it was so fun. Okay, so now we'll dive into like the chronological of the movie, but I have questions. So Barry Bonds never got popped.
No. There's a reason, though. There's actually multiple reasons. But one reason is that the years that he was on stuff, they didn't really have mandatory testing.
Yeah. That blew my mind, too. They said it was illegal in the MLB, but they didn't do any tests, which is fucking wild.
Yeah. And
It's like the UFC before USADA got involved.
Well, and I heard the NFL was like that forever, and maybe even kind of still there.
Kinda still is.
I guess my question, though, now, which you guys might have. So I don't know if it's the public eye, but even in the movie, it seemed like Conte and the movie kind of admitted Sosa, Bonds, Romanowski, Sosa, McGuire, Romanowski, some of these people, Marion Jones, obviously she did jail time, were on shit. Tiny Tim, he was obviously very open about his use.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the movie and Conte, and even the culture before this movie, to my knowledge, knows somehow that they all took shit.
Yeah.
But Bonds is this question mark.
But
What is that? Did someone actually catch all these people? Did Conte just admit it because of that paperwork? Did the paperwork
I think
found in the trash can kind of incriminate them without throwing them in jail?
Bonds and Sosa went
I
on
don't
the
know.
stand, and they admitted to it, right? In court.
Bonds didn't ever.
Bonds
No,
didn't
not
ever-
very. Sosa and McGuire.
Maybe that's the...
McGuire sort of admitted it, kind
But
of.
blame Canseco or something?
No, the thing, a huge thing that's missing from this is the congressional hearing that all
That's
the
what I'm
baseball
talking
players.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and he didn't. He said, "I don't want to talk about the past."
Nice.
Is what McGuire said, "I don't want to dwell on the past. I don't want to talk about the past."
Well, we want to talk about your big-ass head.
Yeah, he didn't admit to anything there.
What did
the
he
only
weigh?
time that he admitted to
God.
anything was when he got back into baseball coaching. So people told him from a PR perspective he needed to come out and like mea culpa a little bit and say, "Yeah, I made some mistakes," and
So that's probably it, though, right? That's probably what's kind of incriminated, quote unquote, these people is they've either admitted themselves or they were fined for it and removed. Like Alex Rodriguez was suspended for steroids.
The Alex Rodriguez was suspended for steroids because of the Mitchell report. That was generated by
Separate.
Major League Baseball itself. They got, they brought in a political legal figure to run this investigation.
Yeah.
It was also kind of bullshit in a lot of ways. Yes, indeed, they caught people, but there were people who were let off the hook they were minor characters in the whole thing, and they were kind of let off the hook.
Well, that did nothing to Alex's career.
No.
He ended up now he's like the #1 analyst on
Yeah.
MLB.
People love him.
tonight. He's like he's the face of the MLB still.
He's a big fat face of
Yeah, he's still like right there.
yeah.
I mean, obviously David Ortiz was on steroids too. All those guys are on steroids.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single one of them.
Well, the stats
All
aren't
those
that,
big hitters.
the stats aren't that crazy. They say Mark McGuire's 6'5".
Yeah.
Drafted at 215, but
Yeah,
in
he was a
19
skinny 6'5". He was
and-
little.
215 and 6'5" is pretty small.
That's tiny. He
like
was tiny.
Kobe was 6'6", 220, and
Yeah.
you would never say like, "Wow, Kobe's on test."
Well, that was.
And then they say McGuire at 1999, right? That's when he broke the record, or 98. That's when he was smashing. Was 245.
but like 4% body fat.
Yeah, obviously jacked, right? Because he's not a bodybuilder, but like not really that jacked. Like I think you can be 6'4", 6'5", 220 to 250. I mean, look at Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to the the race card, but
Yeah.
Ngannou's probably 250, 260, probably leaner than McGuire.
Have you seen McGuire without a shirt on?
I've seen
You're
him
also
without his pants
you're
on.
thinking about a baggy. You're thinking about those baggy jerseys. Those are pump hiders.
Those are the real pump covers.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're real pump hiders.
He
dude,
invented it to hide the steroid.
His sleeves were
fucking-
big. He had
Yeah.
his arms were huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I remember hearing like 20-inch arms and this and that, but that's not giant. I
Is he
mean,
really 6'4"? Is he like
that's true.
6'2",
That's a really good
What's
6'3"?
question.
Arnold? Arnold at his prime, maybe 6'1", 6'2",
They say
240.
No, he was. I don't even think Arnold really broke 6 feet.
I don't think so either. You
Yeah.
see him at the. I know you get older and you shrink, but like you stand next to him at the Arnold or when he's walking by with the mob, and it's like, oh, I'm taller than this guy, and I'm 6 foot.
Side
Yeah.
note: I just listened to a little Hulk Hogan interview.
Oh yeah, on Rogan, huh?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan when he was young and playing sports and shit. I think they said he was 6'6", 6'7". He had 20 surgeries in the last 10 years. He said he measured himself. He's 6'3".
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
Knee, hip, and back surgeries.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
Wow.
So just speaking about like body weight and height and stuff, the Giants just brought up their #1 pitching prospect. Who's probably the #1 pitching prospect in baseball right now. Kyle Harrison had him start a couple days ago. 3 1/3 innings, gave up a home run, but whatever. He has a particular delivery. It's a very muscular delivery. Like some pitchers look like a trebuchet. They're slinging the ball.
Yeah.
You know.
Some are like doing some Tai Chi.
Yeah, he looks like he's muscling every single pitch. And I was talking to my son, who's the big baseball head, and I noticed that, and he said, "Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Carlos Rodon." And I looked up Rodon, and yeah, that's true. He does look like that, but Kyle Harrison is 6'2", 215. Carlos Rodon is 6'1", 255.
Oh,
and he doesn't look fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's built like a brick shithouse, and how did that happen? I don't know. I'm not casting aspersions here, but some people just,
Who was that shot putter in the movie?
That guy was jacked.
That dude was just fucking cranked.
Yeah.
And Conte even said, he's like, I didn't give anything to the shot putters because we were only selling ZMA, but they were on stuff. Like,
for sure.
Duh.
Yeah.
That shot putter was a fucking tank.
That's like saying the top weightlifters aren't on shit
Yeah.
in the Olympics.
Yeah,
They're
you see
all, you
fucking-
have to be, or you're not competing.
You see Lou, that fool retires and loses like 60 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he hops back in. He's 100 pounds. He looks like a grandpa.
Yeah, he was snatching almost 400 pounds at
Yeah.
169 pounds.
Yeah, squatting 700 pounds
Yeah.
and fucking shredded.
Yeah.
It is weird.
When I think about big baseball players, I think about CC Sabathia. He
yeah,
was like
like
six-
natural, you mean?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
6'10".
Yeah.
yeah,
He was
huge.
almost 7 feet.
Yeah. And he's just like, that's what I think about
Pretty sure
baseball, too.
6'10", maybe
Randy
6'8".
Johnson.
6'8"
Yeah, I
or
think he was like
6'10".
6'8". Yeah, I think he was like 6'8".
But it was
that's
like
a giant.
But he was like 350 pounds.
Yeah.
because he was
Randy
just a big
Johnson
guy.
probably barely broke 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
6'8".
Yeah. Yeah, 6'7", 6'8".
He's a professional NFL photographer now.
Yeah,
Did you know
Just
that?
for
not
shits
that
and
he
gigs?
needs the money.
Yeah, no, he just literally, he's like one of the main NFL photographers, like on the sidelines.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
You know who he's built like? Dr. Disrespect.
He looks like his dad.
Yeah, he could be his dad.
I think it probably is.
Yeah, probably
It
is.
adds up.
The athleticism.
Was he in town in the Bay Area, Arizona, San Francisco game at one point?
Oh,
Doc?
yeah.
Doc or Randy? Both.
Randy. That's how it could be his dad.
Probably Doc, too.
That's how he was born.
Maybe. Yeah, the Giants brought Randy on for one season so that he could break a record.
Did they sign
Yeah.
him for a season?
Yeah,
That's cool.
And so he was like, he's got a down low good relationship with the Giants, even though he's more recognized as a Diamondback, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's, the face, he's like the face of that entire franchise to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. So this documentary is pretty chronological, I guess.
Yeah.
Unlike a lot of them,
Yeah.
it doesn't bounce back and forth in time too much. It
doesn't talk a lot
is
of
it investigative. You would say.
It is
Yeah.
kind of investigative with Nadolski, who Jim and I interviewed a long time ago about UFC and drug testing, and
Nowitzki.
Sorry, not Nadolski. Nadolski's we also interviewed.
He's a doctor, yeah.
Nowitzki, who I think also was in the Lance Armstrong
Yeah.
stuff, but that was after this, right? Lance Armstrong
yeah,
was
I
more
believe
like
that. I believe it's
2000 to 2008. I feel like was when
Yeah.
he was being investigated, and this was more like 95 to 2005. So probably simultaneous. What I didn't know, and we even interviewed the guy. I didn't know he was IRS technically.
I thought he was FBI. So
It's IRS with a gun.
yeah,
Yeah,
accountant with a
IRS.
gun. Yeah. That
That's
was
crazy.
That was the pitch. Yeah.
And so I guess their department just maybe uses taxes to find crime,
yeah.
right? Which makes sense,
They're
right?
like forensic accounting.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, this money looks weird. There's probably something illegal, but they're the illegal side rather than the fraudulent money side.
Right,
Like they
right.
almost don't care about the money.
Yeah, the
It's
crime isn't in the money. The crime is how you make the money.
yeah, it's the bait for not paying, because maybe he paid his taxes on the 80
Yeah,
million, but
probably did.
that money's weird.
How scary is that software though, where they can just type in
Yeah.
your name and just find out
Oh, everything.
all your money, where it's all
Everything.
coming from?
Yeah, like
Literally, it was like a Google.
The
Where's
I
the
had-
money coming from?
I had no
ChatGPT.
idea that you could like put in a business and find out what its inflows and outflows were.
Yeah.
Just the internet, or it's probably pre-internet, is weird too. We just moved mom to Vegas and got a house out there, and they do obviously tons of credit checks and background checks and all that. And I forgot which meeting we were in. We were signing some papers, and I don't even know who we were talking to at this point. We talked to so many damn people. Some kind of real estate or some kind of title company. Somebody was talking to us, and they're like, "Oh, this is how your name shows up everywhere." And there's a list of 8 names that are my mom, and one of them was wrong. You know, it was like Marla or something. My mom's name's Maria. It was Marla, and my mom's like, "Oh yeah, I guess my dad like had bad handwriting and like bought her car, and they wrote the name wrong, but it like is attached to her." So you Google not Google, whatever program, similar program, they check my mom's name, and they know where your name is everywhere on the planet for
Yeah.
anything important.
It's the title company
Yeah.
for sure. Because like I have one of the most common names in the fucking
Yeah.
world, literally one of the most common names, And I have, both times that we bought a house, I've had to sign a particular thing and have it notarized in front of a notary that I am me,
not
any of these other people. Yeah, it's super, super, super common name.
IRS stuff's weird. IRS with a gun kind of threw me off too.
Yeah, I maybe he told us that.
I'm sure he did.
Was 2016?
Maybe
2015, 2016?
When you guys interviewed him?
Yeah. It was whenever Uriah Faber retired. I didn't know that
right.
because that's why he was in town.
That's right.
Whenever that was.
Retired the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I think
UFC
one fight.
retiring.
Yeah, UFC fight.
He's done other fought
random.
in other what do they call those
Fight leagues?
Yeah.
Leagues.
Or
leagues,
done like grappling or something.
Yeah. So and then
I didn't know he was in the movie until I turned it on.
Well, he was such a central part of the investigation.
Yeah. Which I didn't know either. In my head he was the Lance Armstrong guy. It makes sense he was.
Yeah, he was kind of the spearhead. But I think when we talked to him, we spent more time talking about Lance Armstrong than we did, and Bones Jones.
Oh yeah, because
he was working for
Jones.
he was working for UFC,
and the Bones just got caught maybe for the first time on a dick pill.
Yeah, and it was like gas station dick pills.
Yeah,
Rhino 4,000.
Yeah, and his I think he got caught with the supplement company he was working with at the time.
Yeah, I think that's right too.
Like a tainted supplement.
And then I think the UFC checked that supplement and they found it. So Jones might have not been lying.
It's like Winstrol or something.
Yeah, which is crazy. And that's a very common thing that ties into this in some sense. That was very common in the 90s and early 2000s that supplement companies would do that on purpose.
Yeah, shady. So you get these gains.
Right, and then you're going to be addicted to the thing, and then they'll take it out to save margins, and now you're just addicted to sugar and caffeine, but the first one was real gains.
God, that should be like, you should go to jail for that, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're just like literally you're drugging people.
Yeah, you're literally poisoning. Yeah, might as well roofie me.
Yeah.
Well, and that was some of the argument around BALCO was that they were testing these things on people.
Yeah.
There's like human subjects without a human subjects ethics committee.
Well, and he said did it on himself, and there's one picture of him doing curls, trying the clear from from some bodybuilder.
And he got
friend.
jacked.
Yeah, he got pretty jacked.
Yeah. He's not as jacked now.
He is an interesting guy. It's kind of hard to like hate him. He obviously has got some slime about him, but like
he wants to be famous really bad.
Yeah, but you kind of like he's kind of endearing in some senses. Like I kind of liked him.
So I met him.
You just kind of believed him.
Yeah.
So I met him at the Olympia in probably I want to say 15, 16.
I wonder if I met him and just forgot.
14, 15. No, it could have been before that.
I've been to the Olympia since 2011 or 2012 with you, I think.
I can't remember whether you were there or not, but I was walking around with Chris Bell.
Oh, then I probably didn't.
And so obviously Chris dealt with him for Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Yeah. And Bigger, Stronger, Faster was shot in 06, 07, a little bit in 08. So it was after that. It was probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. Anyway, so I have a BALCO shirt somewhere that I can't find it at the moment, but I have one that Victor Conte gave me.
Yeah.
And we talked to him for 10 or 15 minutes. And the interesting thing was, if you go on his Twitter, that's what a conversation with him is like. Because he is constantly pointing out people who he thinks are cheating.
Well, because now
and lying about it.
Because now he turned heel, right? Now he's the guy catching people.
Yeah. So it's very conspiratorial. The conversation with him. He's difficult to dislike because he's charismatic in person. He's got a
quirky look, kind of quirky personality, but it's kind of endearing.
Yeah. Whereas Nowitzki seems like a cop.
He gives a lot of FBI
There's
energy.
a lot of cop energy.
He feels like an investigator when you're talking to him.
He does.
It's not like negative.
A guy who loves his job.
Yeah, you feel like, oh, you are this guy. Like you're living the life you're made to live for. And he looks it.
Yeah.
I feel like he was going to pull a light and fucking put it over my face, check my veins or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
He probably dug through my trash.
Yeah. And he didn't seem like a bad guy
Not
either.
at all. No, he had good intentions.
Yeah. Even in the documentary when he's going through people's trash, he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
No, because I think he truly believes that he wants clean sports, and so he's truly working to make sports clean.
He's got a vendetta because he didn't make it in college.
I know. I didn't know he played basketball. I don't think we talked about that.
That's the Joe Biden baseball thing that's in Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Yeah, the drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, Biden's in this for a quick clip. George Bush is in it for a quick clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how big that story.
The burner's in it for a quick clip.
The burner, the rapper?
No, burner. Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
Yeah.
The burner.
Yeah,
I miss Bernie Sanders. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
I
did a
looked
quick
away
one.
for a second. It's like, that's Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
And
Bernie
I'm like,
Sanders
oh, yeah, it
talking
is.
sports.
Like
Yeah.
that baseball thing was such a big deal on the media.
Yeah.
That like George Bush talked about it in his State of the Union
Yeah.
address.
Yeah, so they
Insane, right?
used that, but there wasn't anything about the actual hearings with the baseball players
Yeah.
They showed some
testified in.
clips
But they didn't
of
really
McGuire, but they didn't really
they
talk
didn't
about
talk
it.
about it at
No.
all.
Yeah.
They sort of just kind of missed that whole.
They showed
the
that
whole
one
thing.
shot. You always see McGuire standing up.
And then the question I wanted to ask Nowitzki when we were with him and I didn't have the balls to ask is like, who leaked the grand jury testimony about Bonds to the Chronicle? And that's what Game of Shadows is based on.
Yeah.
I wanted to and what he seems to be saying in the documentary is that Conte did it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand like what does that benefit Conte?
And Conte basically said that he believes Bonds is on stuff, and he just won't admit it because he gave Bonds trainer drugs, but never gave Bonds drugs.
Right.
Which makes you think that was he injecting everyone else?
I think that he was probably
That's
just giving them
possible.
like, hey, this is what you need to be taken. Like,
You know what I mean? Though,
here's where you can probably get it.
but even with Marion or whatever, it sounds like he gave her coach stuff, never gave her stuff. But he more admitted that,
Right.
and he won't admit to.
because she
Barry.
admitted it.
Oh, maybe that's why he just
Ultimately,
doesn't want to
whereas-
be. He doesn't want to be the ultimate whistleblower,
Yes.
but he doesn't
Right.
mind kind of whistleblowing.
Or conspiracy theory, route is that Bond wrote him a fat check.
Yeah, to shut
keep
up.
his mouth shut.
But I don't know. He basically incriminated him this time.
So
Well,
Bonds.
not him. It was like that. Who else gave him that paper that had like Bonds' initials?
Yeah,
with the whole
BLB.
calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he tried to even like, oh, that could be Bib. I don't know who Bib is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is you wrote this. This
Yeah.
is
I looked at
Bonds.
it. I was like, no, that's Bonds.
That's
Yeah.
for sure an L,
Barry
not an
Lamar
I,
Bonds.
First
That's-
off,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're bullshitting right now, and like in the course of this documentary, it's really whose word do you believe? Do you believe Nowitzki or do you believe Conte?
But then, like, what's Conte really getting off on? Because he basically got caught for everything else, right?
He only got only 2 charges.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
only went to only.
He only got convicted of 2
Right,
things.
right. But that's probably
Ever.
all whistleblowing behind it.
And-
Even though
and
it says
they
he
made a
did.
deal. They made a deal.
They said he didn't incriminate anyone else to get that deal, but he for sure did.
He may have. I don't
Right?
know.
Like, no way you go from 50 charges to 40.
Or they just
Or to
weren't.
2.
Or they just.
2.
Well, it
Yeah,
sounded
2,
like he
2.
had pretty
42
good lawyers.
to 2. He had
I'm
amazing
sure.
lawyers.
His lawyers were
He's driving
on
a
it.
Bentley. I mean, he's got the money.
I was kind of surprised that one of his lawyers wasn't Rick Collins. You know who Rick
Yeah,
Collins
yeah,
is?
yeah.
I was surprised that he was not in that mix.
Who knows? He
somehow.
might have been. Just
He
not in the
might have been,
movie.
and just not on camera.
It sounds like those lawyers. Yeah, they were on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was like, oh, that's impressive.
yeah.
Very
No, that,
lawyer. They lawyered hard.
well, I mean, they were right.
Yeah,
that
they
was
were.
the thing. They were right. The law doesn't prohibit what they were saying.
Yeah,
they
like
prohibited.
drug advice in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, he got in
Yeah.
trouble for what? Money laundering and one other thing is what he
Yeah.
got actually charged
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
He was laundering money. Okay, well, clearly you were saying that you were getting this in, and you claim. Okay, we
Yeah.
caught you for the money laundering.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the other charge? I don't remember.
Yeah, I forgot
which
But it was
one it is.
another like something like unattached
Yeah.
almost, like lying to a grand jury or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably
yeah.
about the money laundering.
Yeah, it was probably lying.
yeah,
It wasn't drug dealing.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
How about that montage of him just washing his Bentley for like
At
way
the
too
end.
long?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it. I mean, nice Bentley.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
very nice.
Nice work.
All
if
that
you can get
ZMA
it.
sales.
And
I mean, the ZMA sales probably right or 30% of the drug money he made.
Probably.
He's gonna be either triple rich or he's gonna be rich either way.
I'm sure he
Yeah.
was funneling the money from the
Had to,
athletes
yeah, yeah.
into the ZMA business.
100%. And
That's like how he was.
I mean,
washing
he's
it.
actually genius, right? Because he has them wearing the ZMA beanies. He has them
Mhm.
wearing the ZMA tees.
Mhm.
So he's running a legitimate business in a smart, good way.
Didn't that happen to like a big bodybuilder was doing that?
ZMA?
No, like basically laundering their steroids
Oh,
through
yeah. All of
the
them?
subs.
Everyone ever?
What's the big super jack black dude?
Oh, that narrows it down.
No, like the big one, the most popular one for a long time.
Ronnie?
No, like off the
Kai Green.
no off the like main stage,
Oh,
Oh, he's more like a
more like influencer
celeb
style.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not Cali Muscle.
no, but like in that
Yeah,
same
yeah,
realm.
yeah.
There's that the other guy,
Yeah. I mean, there's tons. There's also still only 1,000.
Mike. Is there
Oh.
Mike? Not Mike O'Hearn, obviously, but like
Mike Rashid's.
Mike Rashid.
So I know Mike.
See,
Mike,
see, we got there.
Mike, yeah, we did get there. Mike's Well, it was also
You got like raided.
It was also CT Fletcher's. They got their gym in Miami got raided. Within the last 8 years.
Yeah, something like that. I heard that something happened with.
I mean, that's just
supplements.
That's just the most common supplement thing, and maybe Conte was just the first to do it. But there's if we're gonna turn into steroid TMZ here, Black. Don't quote me because there's like Black Stone, and then there's a Black something else supplement company. They got raided and caught, and they did jail time.
I think still doing it.
Yeah, so there's definitely been historically every supplement company, but it's been proven and gone to court that multiple supplement companies have either laundered money through it, steroids, thrown steroids into their product and marketed like we talked about, basically drug roofing us. That's been a common thing over the last 30 years. It's happened time and time again.
Yeah, it seems to be the play for an unknown company coming up.
And I get it,
people want the quick fix.
Right, and it's been a thing on the local level, right? You go to your local gym, not as much in these commercial gyms because, they're a bunch of pansies, but you go to like a mom-and-pop gym and the trainer is the drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right? You buy a couple sessions, you do with him for 3 months, he's like, oh, you really want to make some gains? Here's this, and that guy's doubling his cash flow, and maybe he's following up to the gym owner.
Yeah, there was a post on social media this week, as a matter of fact, saying that the number of strongman coaches that are like, if your strongman coach sells you drugs, they're a drug dealer, not a coach.
Yeah, same with bodybuilding coaches.
But bodybuilding coaches, same thing. Powerlifting,
100%.
Same thing.
They're either you're paying extra to get a protocol, like this Conte thing, and maybe that's if they're smart because it's not illegal, or they're selling you training for $500, drug protocol for $300, and the drugs themselves for $300. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a business upsell. Right? Yep. We just tend to do it with socks and caps, and they do it with fucking Tren and vials.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It like we've been around.
Yeah,
and we've known like a lot of people.
All of them.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, I've seen this many a time in our space. What's funny about the Conte thing, again, I knew the big picture, but I knew it attached to baseball. You read the book, and you know him, so you guys knew a little bit more than me. I guess, like, the intertwining of the bodybuilding world, right? They showed pictures of, like, Flex Lewis and people, or Flex Wheeler and people. I don't know if that was the direct connection or if they just chose a generic bodybuilder to show, but, like, the fact that the Mark McGuire thing was one step away from our world. It blows my mind a little bit. And obviously, I was a kid when that was going on, right? We were probably in like 6th grade or some shit.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in my mind then, but now, everything's full circle. It's very intertwined, the strength and conditioning world with the steroid world, with the Olympics even,
I remember when the news broke on the Marion stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was like blown. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was pretty naive.
Appalled.
I was pretty naive at the time.
For sure.
Like in my head at that age, like, oh, women in sports do steroids?
Yeah.
I
still am.
Wasn't like,
I feel like I still am.
Yeah, that was when I was very naive and young.
Because I've played freaks, and like I've played guys that got full D1 rides in 7th and 8th grade. And I'm almost guaranteed they're not on shit. And I can see the athleticism. And I was pretty athletic as a kid, Like we go to any park and I'm the guy, right? So now I'm playing these guys that are 1%, and they're that much better than me. It just makes me question. Not that I don't think everyone's on shit, but I know there's freaks above. I know there's levels to this shit, and so it's so confusing and so impossible to know because, like last episode, you guys want to check out last week we talked about Johnny Manziel and people's mental instability or egos get involved when you get to competition, and the certain type of person that rises to the top will do anything to get there. Tiny or whatever, talked about it a lot in this.
I loved his story. He was my favorite story.
He was good, and he was good. He was honest. He grew from it.
Yeah.
He's like normal in a sense, but
that's the true. I think that's the true story for most of the users, right? Is his story.
I think so too, except for the ones that go to the top that their egos take over.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why isn't Barry doing the sit-down interview?
That's a good question. I just saw him.
He's also just known to be a prick in general without this.
And he's way more famous than this tiny guy. I get all that, but
he
I've never heard of the tiny guy. Had you guys?
I had never heard of him either.
Yeah, and apparently he's like was the fastest man in the world.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
I never knew about him.
I didn't.
What's the guy Ben
Johnson?
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Canadian.
that's the one. And there was nothing about him in here, and obviously he was pop for steroids.
Yeah, Marion Jones and Ben Johnson's who everyone's pointing the fingers at,
Yeah.
and track and field.
Yeah.
And Lanson and biking. Right? That's what makes me think, like, is everyone on it? Then why are, like, just these ones the one we're pointing the fingers at?
Divers were on it, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, what's Michael
all the
Phelps
swimmers.
doing? Yeah, what's Michael
Swimmers.
Phelps fucking doing?
Oh, he's on steroids.
I
Definitely
mean,
on bong rips. He's the Johnny Manziel of the fucking ocean.
A little less wild.
Yeah.
But he's for sure on
a
steroids.
little bit less wild, but not.
I feel he's like 25.
How do you win 50 gold medals and not be on steroids?
Isn't he 25 doing bong rips at a sorority?
Yeah.
That's weird. At least Johnny was in college.
Yeah. True enough. True enough.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes down to this. It's like, how is it ever going to not be tainted?
Right.
Like, how
Unless-
is everything going to be squeaky clean? And I don't think that there's any world in which it's all going to be squeaky clean, regardless of what the rules are.
until we get some morals in this goddamn society? I think Dean's right. Like, the underground users are the one that push the test to get better, but they're always first.
Yeah.
The cheating's always first before the rules catch up. So
Yeah, I think that's true.
I don't know if it could be. And even, people say,
It's
like,
a cat and mouse game, right?
Always.
The drugs come out before the test, right? And they reverse engineer the new drugs to get the new test. Without the new drugs, there is no new test.
Right.
So
Right.
like it's constantly changing.
And
so it's never going to go away.
part of me,
It's a $1 billion industry.
probably trillion if you
Probably,
take it all.
yeah.
And I want to, believe in athleticism and people wanting to get better and do it the right way and morals of humans, and I want to trust humans. But, like, then you look at, like, the IPF, right? That's the drug-tested powerlifting. There's no fame.
Mm-hmm.
There's no money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still people cheating, getting caught with steroids every single year at IPF Worlds. So now you put money, fame, sex, lifestyle, you put it all in a bubble
Heavy on the sex.
of a real sport, right? Where somewhere you win on a real sport. Of course you're going to do it.
Yeah.
If morals are so bad when it doesn't matter, people are going to cheat. Now, of course you're going to fucking cheat. So then that makes me lean more towards you. Like, all right, 80% of these motherfuckers are on.
Yeah, that's probably a high number, but also like wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10% or whatever less at the IPF Worlds, but that sport doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
not getting likes. You're not getting paid. You're not getting. What's the driver?
You're not
Just
getting
being
on TV, you're not-
just being competitive.
Yeah.
So now these people are arguably just as competitive or more to go to the NFL, MLB, and you got money, fame, riches. Of course.
Then it gets to
Yeah.
be just about winning, which takes us back to Johnny Football.
Yeah, what's driving you? And I get that, but then I know pro athletes too. I know UFC studs. I know NBA players. I know NFL guys, and obviously you can't always tell by a person hanging out with them, because if it's that deep of a secret, they're keeping it to themselves. But I can just tell by looking at them and being in the sport, they're not on. My buddy Luau, NBA All-Star. There's no way Luau took anything. There's just no way. He didn't do it. I know him, and he's not under investigation for
No,
it.
no.
But I'm just saying he got to the top of the best sport. He was the second best player. Some people say if Derrick Rose never got injured, he'd be the best point guard of all time, and he's his number 2 on that team.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't. For morals, I know by looks, I know by
There's a lot more skill involved, I think, in basketball.
For sure.
Or you can get away with not having to
Than
do
being
it.
a linebacker.
And even with baseball, like there's
Right.
actually more skill involved, like
100%.
Defensively.
You juice
Hitting
me
is-
up. I'm
hitting
not
is a
hitting
skill.
100 mile per hour. Yeah, I'm
Home
not
runs are
hitting it.
a very small portion of the game,
For sure.
right? Like that's not, and like the power now, also like the stadiums now to counteract the steroids, like maybe being a little down, is they just moved all the outfields in.
Yeah.
You'll get 300 yards
Or
to
they'll
right.
change the ball or some shit.
Fucking Yankee Stadium is like 300 yards to right field. That my high school fucking field was longer than that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're fucking 16 years old.
And they
Feet,
changed the
feet, not yards.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's
Excuse me. Yeah. I'm thinking about
football
golf.
fields.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
they changed the fucking ball a little bit to give a pitcher advantage. Then they changed the ball a little bit to get a hitter advantage.
Yeah, apparently last year there were 2 different versions of the ball out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Like,
there was
you're-
the ball that they were using for how long was so juiced up, it was just flying out.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's just like
That gets a little weird too. But that goes to your original statement.
They're trying to change the golf ball.
Was it tech? Was it training
Mhm.
that advances the sport? I've mentioned a bunch of times over the years with Jim. There's a really good TED talk about that, where they think technology pushed all records. This one guy, I don't even know what his background was, but he talked about track and field, and he talked about all the marathons.
Golf.
Yeah, he talks about all these things. Yeah, I mean, I literally have, I don't even know whose they were. I got them from my dad, but I have golf clubs from like 1915. And it looks like
Persimmons Wood driver.
bro, it looks like a fucking chopstick.
Yeah.
Got
Legend of Bagger Vance.
If I The bag's like that too. It's all ratty.
Yeah.
If I swung that club with my strength, even I'm breaking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously there's some, and they talk about the sprint times coming down to cleats in the clay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's why some cleats are like illegal, right? 'Cause some cleats are too
Certain-
hot, they're too fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
it's the
swimsuit was a big deal. The
sh-
jet whatever.
Yeah, some people got like some.
Was that 2008? It was legal, and then all of a sudden it disappeared
Yeah.
because people were moving too fast.
Yeah.
But then, where's that line?
Like, why does that matter?
Yeah, don't you want
If
them,
everybody
though?
has the same opportunity to have that piece of equipment.
I think maybe that's it, right? Like maybe lesser countries can't afford it. I don't know. That might have been played a role.
maybe they should supply it.
Like they heard about the World Cup, right? Did you hear about that? I think it was.
No.
Fuck, what country was it? I already forgot. Not
Juiced up ball or
Somalia.
what?
No, Somalia. I think it was Somalia or Jamaica.
I don't know.
Fuck, dude. One of the women's World Cup teams had to get a GoFundMe to go to the World
yeah,
Cup,
yeah.
and then they
Oh,
beat
yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah.
I think it was Jamaica.
I remember that.
Or
story
Somalia.
Very, something like that.
It was within the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like not always even
Yeah.
on the international
No,
level,
it
right?
definitely isn't the same. The funding is
Yeah.
there's a lot of disparity.
I also
there.
remember Sammy Sosa was also using a corked bat for how long?
That's
Remember
a
his
really
bat
good
broke?
question. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
for
like,
sure.
they found out he was using a corked bat.
And now, after he retired, he like jumped in a vat of bleach, and he's like Michael Jackson now.
He had a disease.
I don't think that was all of it. Michael Jackson had a disease. I don't think that's what said.
Yeah, Sosa looks like not a human. He looks like a skinwalker.
Yeah,
he
does.
definitely looks different than he did.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean,
yeah, he's like it's almost like a gray white though. He's like not even
Yeah,
like
he doesn't
there's
look
no
like-
there's no red in his
Blood
skin.
pressure.
he doesn't look like a human anymore.
Well, we got his
I
skin
don't know.
dyed for sure.
Yeah.
But
And I understand that, yeah, if you have that one pigment
If you have
disease.
like
I think allegedly
vitiligo or
he
whatever.
had
Yeah.
it. Or he just did it because he wanted to.
Well, I think you
change
might
it
probably
up.
get that disease, maybe get self-conscious, and if you have the money, then you go
Yeah,
all
or-
in.
Oh yeah, you can't do Joe Rogan and just get sleeves when you get vitiligo.
Does he have it?
Yeah,
You just get
that's why he has so much
Oh,
talent.
really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
That is interesting.
yeah. What was I going to say? I feel like there was a lot missing from this thing, and it was still good.
Because there's so much to the story, and it's
Yeah.
still ongoing, right? We still have sports, and we still have steroids.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes it interesting to me, right? Like, all right, that was 20 years ago. Now what? Still going on.
For sure.
And if BALCO had overlapped the rise of CrossFit, that would have been really
Who knows?
interesting.
Yeah, CrossFit's got crazy shit going on, too.
Now,
Dude, it's hard. It's hard to. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with that. It's just clearly there's a problem. It's not being addressed.
It's just like they just play ignorance there.
Yeah, it's dude. Like this is just not what women look like.
Yeah,
No.
or the dudes.
yeah, or dudes.
We've
And-
been around for so long.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys more than me.
Yeah.
We know what it's capable of. Like
Yeah. Even
physically,
with freak
what-
genetics.
It doesn't matter if you start doing CrossFit when you're 10 and you're a girl. Your shoulders just don't genetically grow like that.
One, how do the guys look like that? And you look better and crazier than NFL running backs who still also might be on shit.
Yeah.
You might be on better shit.
Yeah.
Like what?
I remember at some point thinking like, have we like cracked the code somewhere along the line so that people who are doing a tremendous amount of metabolic work,
Yeah.
cardio, whatever, but they're retaining muscle at a level that we
Right.
haven't really seen before. Did we crack some kind of code, or is it just steroids?
Yeah, they're doing they weigh 200 pounds. They're my size, my height, with an engine and an endurance training that is more like Lance Armstrong.
yeah.
Those
and
they can't go hand in hand.
And the strength is just through the roof.
The
right?
strength
yeah.
is-
clean and
is-
jerking. Some of these CrossFit guys literally are clean and jerking almost 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And then they're also running 5-minute miles.
right, and they're training endurance for 3 hours a day every day.
Yes. Like how are you recovering?
Yeah.
How is it possible
Like,
to
yeah,
recover?
you're a specimen. You know, like the shit you're doing is impressive, and not everyone could do that. But
Yes.
you're just not doing that normally. Also,
I don't think so.
you're not holding that. Like I think Jim's has the biggest indicator. You're not holding that amount of muscle while training like that.
Correct.
You look like a 190-pound natural bodybuilder,
yeah.
but then you're moving more workload than Lance Armstrong.
And also, where are you doing all this hypertrophy accessory
Yeah.
to get this much size growth?
That's
Like you're not
that's a
gaining
major
that.
point,
Like you're
yeah.
not gaining that size growth doing fucking butterfly pull-ups
Or burpees.
and hang snatches.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
burpees.
That's not how the body works. It's not burpees. You need
It's not the assault
hypertrophy.
bike.
You
Yeah.
need heavy weights and hypertrophy for 3 to 4 hours a day alone.
Yeah.
Like CrossFit just doesn't build bodies like that.
Yeah.
No. And if you think about it too, someone who's a natural bodybuilder who, at the point that they're stage ready, they look incredibly jacked or whatever, they have depleted themselves so much that they do not have any. They could not perform those.
I just had dinner with
activities.
Bart. I just had dinner with Bart last night or the night before, and he competed in natural bodybuilding 5 days before that. And my mom, our whole families were there, and Mom knows Bart pretty good. We got in the car. She's like, "Is Bart okay? He just didn't like talk at all." I was like, "Mom,
Yeah,
he's dying.
He's
half
crashed.
dead.
He's
And
crashed.
Bart said something good on Instagram. He said, like forced or like chosen starvation and killing yourself. That's what he called natural bodybuilding, which
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
You're literally just not giving yourself what you need to live.
Yeah.
And a lot of these top CrossFitters walk around like that all
Dude,
day long.
They're 2 or 3%.
They look better. Like Bark looked great, and I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
proud of. Like I'm not even like I'm not. I don't really know
no,
him, but like,
100%. He knows.
I'm really like he did something really cool there.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he's not on steroids, and
Yeah.
he didn't look as good as the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won his show too. Won 2 categories.
Yeah, he just like he didn't look like the mid-level
the veins,
CrossFitter.
The veins don't look the same.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
looks the same. And yeah, Bart maybe doesn't have the optimal genetics at the top of CrossFit because CrossFit is popular enough now that the talent pool is big. You're getting some freaks. You're
for
getting
sure.
freaks now. And same with powerlifting, right? That's why we have the Russ Swolls. Like we have freaks because the sport's popular enough. But if they were that freaky, I mean, Rich Froning played D3 football.
Yeah, baseball.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. D3.
Yeah,
Right? If he's that freaky,
He would've
you're
been-
not there.
Yeah.
You're somewhere else.
yeah. It's just there's this I don't even know. It doesn't really matter. But there's this guy that came into the games like this year out of nowhere, from another sport. Maybe training across like 2 years, but like this like dude looks like fucking. He's ready to shoot the next. He's like huge guy. Weighs probably 230 pounds, solid muscle.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
Yeah.
Like, why are we like? How is this guy even in this sport
Right.
at his size?
Yeah.
And
How do you
like-
run 10 miles and then bike ride and then burpee?
And then like we're like he just comes waltzing in out of nowhere into the CrossFit Games. Like what?
I do think it's dark, and I think we look like pussy haters for talking this way to the
CrossFitters
majority.
can't stand it. They can't stand these conversations.
No, because they know it's true. They know what's
Yeah.
going on, and same with the
I
sports.
think a lot of
world.
them don't though. I think they're in denial and they think that it's like achievable.
Right. Well, and I think if you go so deep yourself, you get this cognitive dissonance that you're gonna make it seem more normal. Like Lance Armstrong. Well, if I'm not doing it, the next 20 are. Right. So you can self-justify through this whole thing. And same with the CrossFitters that it becomes normal. Like, yeah, man, yeah, I train 3 hours a day. Yeah, I take a little HGH because everyone else does. Right. So then it becomes normal to you. So then you get, like rightfully so defensive when people are coming for you that you're cheating. But by the rule book, you're cheating.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong morally, right? Morals and laws don't always go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But in the sport of CrossFit, in the sport of natural bodybuilding, and the IPF powerlifting, and USAW, you're cheating. Like that's just black and white. There's no argument there.
Then you start looking at the Masters CrossFitters and you're just like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Like, how could they
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're
TRT
40. So you're
exempt.
45.
Yeah.
And you look like Arnold in his prime.
Right. Yeah. How are you not?
That's
in
bad
that-
comparison.
How do you not have an NFL background?
Yes.
If you're that much of a freak.
And you never even did any sports in high school.
Yeah. You
And-
can't tie your shoes.
And to go back to for just a second, the people who are not doing it, who believe that it's all being done naturally, and when you question it, it's like you question the Bible.
Yeah.
It's like you question.
I'm not questioning
Jesus.
the philosophy of CrossFit and how it can change a lot
Right.
of people's lives.
And it can make a lot of people very good looking and fit.
yes.
Yeah.
But you are not going to look stage
You're not going to
ready.
be 210 pounds as a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Two-
It's-
200 pounds is sort of the demarcation line. Yeah.
It's hard. It's going to be rare. I mean, look at Russ Swole, and I 100% believe Russ is natural, but Russ is like 5'7", 190 pounds,
Yeah.
and he does no conditioning. You know, he'll move around, but he's not doing 1,000 burpees and running 10 miles.
Yeah.
Because he can't
keep
hold that body
size.
mass. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
And
problem.
obviously, he's the elite of the elite, and he's specialized for his sport, but like, you just can't keep that amount of muscle on you, man.
These guys are mostly under 5'10". Actually, probably
Yeah.
75-80% are under 5'10".
Like
and they're in
200
the
pounds.
200-pound
Yeah.
range, yeah. And
Buck
they're-
80 to 200 pounds.
And they're running 5-minute miles, and they're
yeah.
snatching, almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, so
like,
it's
and
wild.
after doing 12 other workouts in a 3-day period.
And there is money and fame now in CrossFit.
Yeah, 500K, dude, or whatever
Like,
the hell
that's
it is for
life-changing
first
money.
place. Like it's.
And then again, we could go to the MLB and the NFL.
I've heard about some of these tier sponsorships too. Like,
Yeah, I've
I know a
heard too.
weightlifter that's making 6-figure tier sponsorship for wearing the shoes on the platform,
Yeah.
and he's not even a marketable person and doesn't really even
make content or nothing.
Doesn't really, not. It can make some content, but like it's not like he's not like a Rich Froning or he's
Right.
just like. But this kid's getting 100K.
Right. So yeah, I mean,
So there's
it's
money
easy-
involved.
and it's easy to justify. Again, like morals and laws don't go hand in hand. Like, all right, you need to provide for your wife and kids. yeah, man, I might take a little test too, like if I'm that down on my luck. You know what I mean? Like, I understand how you get from A to B, but it's just weird that we're just going to ignore it. We're not going to talk about B. That's what's the dark side, right?
Yeah.
It's not that you got there. We understand it. And I empathize, right? If you grew up maybe poor, maybe you got a family you got to feed and your wife can't work or whatever. There's a lot of situations that it makes sense to take a little test. It is innocent enough to get to where you want to go, but you're cheating and you're lying. And there is a lot of darkness in all these sports.
What's funny, the biggest, like, I think the most commonly used, like what Ricky Gerard got popped for, is the Austrian. Like the one that literally is there to retain muscle.
Right.
Because these guys can't keep on muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like that's like the main, that main supplement is for muscle growth specifically.
Yeah, or
right?
post cycle therapy stuff.
Yeah.
Which means you know what you're doing is wrong because you're trying to cycle off to keep your muscle because you know you're about to be tested.
Yeah.
Which is most common in all sports too.
Also, it's weird that he got the year he came back.
Yeah,
did
got
really
top
well.
3 again.
Got top 3.
How do they let him back after 1 year?
Yeah, it's only a 1-year ban.
I think I don't know. Maybe you talked about it with you. I definitely talked in private where like, look, man, and I've had goes with CrossFit who they haven't loved things I've said in the past, but like, how do you claim to be all drug free and you claim all this WADA ruling, which they don't. They go by WADA rules, but they don't have WADA testing.
Yeah, they're not associated with anybody.
Testing. Yeah, they have independent
Which
testing.
is the most shady thing they could possibly do.
And we met, I think you were with me. It was a quick interaction. We met the testers in an airport once. They said what's up to us. And we called them out like that. Like, oh, do you work for WADA? Like, no. Oh, okay. You know, They do WADA-style testing. But then, so you want to be this big, clean sport, and then you catch a guy, and then you let him back 9 months later?
Yeah.
Where studies show... Multiple studies show one test alone works better than no test and working for building muscle.
Mm-hmm.
2, the gains you get from building muscle and strength with any performance-enhancing drug can manipulate and benefit you for a lifetime, not just 9 months. And that's why even natural bodybuilding, although it's obviously much less spectacular money-wise and fame-wise, they say can't be on anything for 5 years before you come into natural bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the ruling.
Mm-hmm. And they use lie detectors.
Bart got all lie detected.
Yeah, lie detectors are not reliable, but whatever.
No, Bart even admitted, he's like, I think I'm a psychopath. I think I could crush that.
yeah. If you can disassociate,
off.
Yeah.
you can compartmentalize anything. Then you don't have to.
Which
there's
funny.
a lot of people that have mastered that.
Right,
Yeah.
and same with this movie. They're mastering the daily, weekly half-life of drugs, and so you can build a calendar and probably get by stuff that way too.
Yeah.
I think what you mentioned on it before, it's like they have so much shit now where like literally you can be out of your system in 4 days.
Yeah, pretty damn quick. So to try to sort of bring this one around, like if you were, if your life depended on it,
I'm cheating.
and no,
Oh.
I think that's clear.
Okay,
I think that's everybody, almost everybody. But if you had to believe something that Victor Conte said versus something that Jeff Nowitzki said, like your life depends on the outcome of this, like who do you believe?
Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Probably Nowitzki, right? Because like, although he seems very morally driven, he doesn't really have like motives like that, right? And Conte clearly has motives to save his ass.
Yeah.
Money-wise,
his
jail
company.
time. And like the only corny thing, I think it was right before he started cleaning his Bentley. He's like, and I'm like, dude, I could feel your voice lying. He said, I did my time. I did my 4 months. I'm like, bitch, you don't feel justified that you know what I mean? He tried to take the ground that I messed up. He tried to admit it and that he did his time for what he did.
Now, yeah, here's the thing.
4 months in a federal prison, which is basically a like boys club.
Yeah, that picture of his and his cellmate was funny though.
That was pretty
daughter
funny,
was funny.
yeah.
The dude did look like a murderer.
Yeah.
Conte
But
looks
clearly
like
he was there for like tax evasion.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that if you did a crime, you got convicted, you went to jail, you did your time, you were released, whatever. On that crime, okay, so maybe we'll clear the slate on that. But like, you know that he did other crimes.
It felt like he knew the other 37 were still bad.
Yeah.
The only person that felt like, and these aren't actors, right? So these interviews, although they might be fed some lines,
right?
These aren't actors, so you can kind of get a feel for the humans. Tiny is the only one that felt that he learned through this process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's the only one that, like him training his son, that all seemed real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, son, it'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
You know, he had sleepless nights. And then he still admitted, he's like, but it felt pretty good to be by that sign.
Yeah.
Like, that all felt honest.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just like, I'm a changed man. You know, he said, like, nah, it felt pretty good to be by that sign.
He accomplished his goal.
Right.
The way he knew, the only way he could do it.
100%.
And he got, I think he felt satisfaction and was happy with that.
And he got his shit
And it's okay
stripped.
it's okay to equally be like, yeah, I cheated and I got it, but hey, it felt good.
And he said, like, and at the end of the day, I lived through that. That was an experience I did.
Yeah.
Like, I liked him. He seemed like a cool dude.
I think that's like just because it's the most honest thing in that whole.
It was the only honest person.
Yeah, he was. They really used him as a through line through the entire thing. Like he does draw contrast to Conte and kind of everybody else.
And he's the only one that would take an interview, right?
Yeah.
Marion didn't do an interview. No baseball.
I'm sure that her story though would be the same. It's like, I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably regret it now because it kind of ruined my life a bit. And, and I have this like cloud over me now. But like at the time, it was worth it, and that's I was living in the moment.
I wish we got a Romanowski interview because I think he's pretty open about it all.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I haven't read his book, but I heard about his book, and I've heard interviews about him about his book that he just talks about copious amounts of all types of drugs.
Yeah, he had a fishing like tackle box full of supplements.
He said the guy from The Wrestler. Yeah, remember the movie The Wrestler? The guy that sells them.
But yeah, no, I think Romanowski said that some of it was NFL and Raiders and Broncos given. That you'd hop on the Raiders flights, and in the back, everyone knew there was a pill box out there to make you feel better.
Oh yeah, it's
I
like
believe that,
remember what was it, Friday Night Lights? What was the movie with the guy they just kept feeding him the whatever.
Yeah, Hulk
painkillers?
Hogan. This interview, he talks about it. He's like, yeah, man, we were all on it, and a lot of my buddies died, but we were in a lot of pain.
Yeah, understandably. I knew somebody who used to race before Lance Armstrong was busted, and like he was nobody, but he was on a team, and you come in from a ride and they give you an IV, they give you testosterone, they give you insulin,
You're just supplementing
to help you
at that point
feel better. Yeah, you got to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know that. I don't know it's possible for people to have like long enough careers to really reach a height,
right?
Without something.
Which just makes a better ruling for us to make it more legal, make it more studied, and make it more regulated, but allow it in sports.
Yeah, I'm not against that.
Right? Because like right now, we have the optics are no drugs, and the reality is copious amounts of drugs. So if we go somewhere in the middle that is allowed and studied, yeah, there'll be a % that still abuses them and breaks the rules, but the playing field is... the gap will be smaller. So let's like make it regulated with doctors. We don't even study them correctly in America.
I think the problem with that is it's like these are kids' games.
For sure, because
like
then what age?
That's what's preventing that.
But I think it already happens. Yeah, I think it's still optics. Like there's rumors of the areas I grew up in, what schools were on what, and I remember, I don't want to call names. I remember going to the local commercial gym as a 16-year-old basketball player and seeing the football players from local high schools around me. Like what the? And I had
dude, I have many friends on the football that way. Friends that I know that are on my team in baseball that played football. They were taking everybody was taking. Like some kind of serum or some shit.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was
just taking, like the football guys, especially, like they were all like at fucking 15, 16 years old.
So that
it's so different than these TikTokers on. It's the same. On like but
they're just more verbal.
It's just verbal about it. Like I know a bunch of my friends that were way too big for that age. That were taking shit.
Yeah. So like I don't know if there's a negative.
It's already happening.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like an education and studies, because America doesn't even like allowed to study because it's still like class 3 or whatever the fuck. Like, so if we make it at least legal to study, maybe UC Davis can come out with a healthier strain or a healthier compound or, know, or a way to at least the high school kids then know what post-psychotherapy looks like.
Yeah,
like it's obviously cloudy because we're talking kids. Yeah, it gets fucking bad. But like you said, it's already happening so common. And again, it's probably the piece of shit coach at the school, right? Like they don't. Where do they learn it? They're learning it from YouTube and probably their coach.
What's fucked up though about the kids thing is I'm not trying to get like crazy political, but like in another form and use of these drugs for gender stuff, it's like it's totally accepted and fine. Yeah. And then that's whatever. That's you can have your opinions on that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like
anything under 18 is not cool, but one is for some people more acceptable.
Yeah, and that's weird.
But you might get it more acceptable on the other side too. There's probably some dads that are cool with their 16-year-old taking tests to go to the NFL.
That's
Johnny Manziel's
my
dad.
point about even bringing that up is like it's looked at in this light as like totally fine and we should be open-minded to it, but then why can't the dad let his son do it?
I think it's all bad.
This is not my personal opinion.
No,
but
I agree.
What about the football dad that wants his 16-year-old to take it? Like, why is now that a problem?
Because one they would say is
now this is dangerous, but this isn't dangerous.
Right.
Like, I don't understand it enough.
They would say one is more important, life-changing, although they're both life-changing. Making $10 million as a quarterback in the NFL is life-changing.
And being mentally happy
is also life-changing. 100%. Yeah, it's just what we still tie.
It's very interesting. I never even thought about it in that perspective till just now.
Yeah, when you talk about sports, you think of it as a hobby or you think of it as a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But how society actually chooses or lives in sports, it's not. It's do or die, kind of like the Texas thing. Whether that's right or wrong, whole different conversation. But what society, where we put our money, our attention, our morals, where we put things in sports, it is everything.
Yeah.
So whether that's right or wrong, but to back up your point, right? How we act and how we talk about sports are different.
Yeah.
Who's our heroes? LeBron James, Tom Brady. Who's supposed to talk when political things are going down? Who's supposed to help Maui when Maui's going crazy? It's these people. But then, it's just basketball. They're just dribbling a ball. So then which one is it? Which does tie into the underage, whether it be gender stuff or even growing. You know, what says, you know, I think even Lionel Messi got some shit. He was like 5 feet, and they gave him some HGH when he was a teen, and now he's 5'6".
And some of those people fucking take off too. I mean, some of them actually get.
No, there's a pro golfer. I forgot who, but he was like, he was 5 foot.
Yeah.
Now he's 6'1".
Yeah,
growth plate stuff, and I get it. But where's that line drawn of what's important and what's not?
That's a really good question.
And who makes the choice or not?
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Hopping back to the previous episode, when we're talking about Johnny Manziel. I mean, he was heavily recruited out of high school, obviously, and like before him, how low were they going to find potential athletes? Were they going
Texas? Fuck, dude, that's when you're in Pee-wees.
Bro, even here, I told you I played against a guy from Modesto, who was signed full ride to UCLA, verbal, I think, because you couldn't write it at the time, verbal since 7th grade.
That's insanity.
Yeah, I think there was a guy at Capital Christian I played against. He was 7 foot. He got a full UCLA ride in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And that's the flip side of our discussion about if you just made steroids legal for sports, it is going to push down to kids,
right?
And that's scary.
But if it's regulated,
but I think the kids a lot of them are taking stuff. What if is the answer just like dropping the testing?
Yeah, see, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I don't know the answer either. But like
because what is the testing doing?
Because it's kind of like the alcohol thing to me, where like. All the kids I knew that were getting hammered in high school, it's because their parents acted like alcohol was the devil. My mom would give me a sip of wine at Easter, and then I didn't get hammered in high school because it wasn't that mysterious.
We let our kids at holidays have a glass of wine. You can have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Right, and that's obviously very and the alcoholism.
My dad would let me do coke in 6th grade,
and now you're not a coke addict.
And now I'm like,
you just want to play football with Johnny.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But like Europe, Mexico, their alcoholism.
His family nickname was Booger Sugar, but you know.
No, exactly what you said. Like other cultures, right, outside of here, like
they probably
Australia,
have way less alcoholism.
They don't.
Than we
do. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, where here alcohol is this big. Oh, turn 21, get hammered, lucky you. Or parents are all weird about it, and then we have a bunch of alcoholics.
Yep.
And underage drinking. So I don't know if that works with steroids, but in my head, education, no matter what the subject, education is going to be better than not.
Yeah.
And we have a huge lack of it in this department.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, one of these conversations that we could just go forever, but it's just it's very strange. Like, who's the gatekeeper?
Right. Who's winning or who's not?
Who's the gatekeeper?
Yeah. Why are they so anti-drug, and why aren't we opening that? It probably goes deeper to political and money.
It's always tied to money, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the line, there's always what's the money?
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and power is money.
Right.
And money is power. If you create a wedge issue and you put yourself on one side and look like you're the the righteous
guy.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a moral optics. That's why it is just optics. Like, there's no way test for 16-year-olds is worse than the heroin and the fentanyl floating around our country.
Yeah.
Right? There's just no possible way.
There's
Overdose
no way.
On test. Okay, maybe we'll get like some heart issues. Overdose on heroin and fentanyl, everyone's fucking dying right now.
Yeah.
And our cities are deteriorating from zombies.
We're literally giving people tools to do the drugs.
Right.
The crazy thing about fentanyl too, and I hadn't really thought about this until recently, and this is totally off topic, but people who were dying of fentanyl are not taking fentanyl on purpose.
Yeah, majority.
A lot of it
They're
is, like,
basically
laced.
being poisoned
Right.
with an additive
Right.
to the drug they thought they were taking.
People
In Vegas right now, there's just literally just hotel rooms full of people overdosing,
Yeah.
doing their. Let's get some coke and do party in Vegas. And on live
just
PD,
dying.
people are just dropping dead in Vegas left and right, doing
bad
coke
fentanyl,
and
or
fucking
bad
bachelor
coke.
parties
Yeah.
because it's cut with fucking fentanyl.
Yep. Yeah. Every celebrity that's died recently, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It
Usually
just goes
fentanyl
on.
related, but
Yeah.
a lot of people are just fucking shooting it up because it's cheaper than
Right,
everything
and the high is
else.
supposed to be insane.
And the basically cartel is completely switched to just like selling fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
How many syringes we giving it?
okay, so I'm agnostic on this: syringes or Victor Conley Bentleys,
Bentleys are good too. I even thought ZMA bottles.
ZMA bottles, maybe.
Is that a fresh bottle?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Amazon.
Nice. Oh, that's funny. He's still selling the same label and everything.
It's the same label.
Well, I
and
think that
everything.
labels came full circle,
Yeah.
like to being like back in
Yeah, it's
style.
retro stuff.
Yeah, now it's like actually kind of a fire colorway and fire.
Teal and yellow.
Yeah, it looks good.
with black and white.
Simple
Looks
branding,
good.
a little
Yeah.
arch logo on there.
Yeah, I had some symptoms and some not so great sleep that made me think that potentially zinc and magnesium might
Yeah.
be a thing.
Those are two things that are.
Danny takes
tend
like
to lack.
what's it called, Natural Calm.
Yeah.
The powder. It's
That's
like
got
it's like the
magnesium in
old
it.
school like fucking everybody mom had it,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and like take a scoop of that before he goes to bed. He says he sleeps great.
Yeah, magnesium does help.
This just made me poop.
Yeah, that's not
Like,
bad either.
I would
sometimes.
wake up in the morning and I would have like the fullest bladder ever.
Explosive diarrhea.
Fullest bladder ever, and then explosive diarrhea. Yeah. So it was not good for me. It did not play out for me.
Let's go by drug bought in Bentleys. 1 to 5.
I'll give this one a 4. 4-1.
I think the subject matter is just so interesting.
Yeah, I'm
So-
biased.
Yeah, I'm biased too, and because it is an ever-going conversation,
Yeah.
an ever-going issue, and Conte's still involved, and everyone's still involved. The Barry Bonds stuff still talked about.
Yeah.
Why isn't he in the Hall
I
of
think
Fame?
he'll die on his deathbed before ever admitting to gaining 30
Does he ever
pounds
go in the
an
Hall of Fame?
off-season. No.
I think the veterans might put him in if they put in somebody else. If
Yeah,
they
when
put
they
in
do- who votes it? Coaches, ex-players.
at this
It's a panel?
point, because it's been 10 years, it has to be the veterans that put him in.
So I was going to say
So the
other
sports
Hall of
writers are
Famers.
out of it now. So it's
I think he'll go in then because the old guard will leave, and there's some people that still
Maybe 20, maybe another 10, 20 years.
But then it might play a role, like you said, like the rumor of Barry just kind of being a dick in general
I think
might
a lot
go
of I
against
think a
him
lot
here.
of players. I think that
Yeah.
I think if he would have been more personable with had a better reputation socially.
Yeah, in the dugout.
I think
and
we're
shit.
talking a more streamlined situation, but I think there's just a general consensus that like fuck this guy.
Yeah, that
He's
might
not really
be
a
true
part
too.
of our. He's not really a part of our club.
Yeah, he's not golfing with them now.
Yeah.
He's not the Charles Barkley Shaq buddies.
Dude loves a Kings game.
Yeah, he also rides bikes with Lance Armstrong. So
Yeah, well, that's a
There you go,
red
says it
flag,
all.
huh?
yeah,
Red fucking flag.
he's doing appliance company commercials now
Yeah.
too, like local Bay Area. I don't know why he's doing that. Like he's got to have money. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
just chill.
He might have been doing it for a friend or whatever. Who knows? But
I'll give it the same as you. I'll give it about a 4. 4, maybe somewhere between 4 or 4 or 5. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Not as great as Icarus. I think Icarus is still my favorite documentary all time. But this one was all the Untolds are shot well.
Mhm.
Is this
This
your
one's-
favorite Untold so far?
Probably. Even though I hear this Gators one, I guess we'll have to do in a week.
I'm
or
excited
two.
for that one.
Yeah, we'll do that. In
I watched
week
a
or
little
two.
snippet preview.
Yeah, it'll be
Mm.
good.
And that opening story they talk about in the preview.
Well, 'cause
I'm
they
like,
have
oh,
Hernandez.
I'm hooked.
I mean, that team's crazy. The stories that come from that team are crazy. The Hernandez stuff. But yeah, probably my favorite Untold.
Was
And-
Aaron on that team?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
that's where it gets weird. This
Yeah.
story's crazy, and the Tim Tebow Christian stuff, the Tim Tebow football stuff. It's all there's so many stories. Yeah, I'll give it a 4
America's favorite virgin.
for sure. Besides Jesus Christ, probably top 3 maybe. I like steroid conversations because it's
Yeah.
kind of dark, but it's not dark.
Yeah.
It's dark. It feels darker than it is.
Yeah.
Truly, but it feels so dark. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Very taboo.
So it'll get the criminal guys. If you like criminal movies, this kind of gets you. If you like steroids and
it's
lifting,
very
it gets
investigative.
you.
If you're into the investigative,
Yeah.
kind of like.
But if you like meathead shit, you'll like it. And then
Mhm.
obviously if you like baseball and football, you'll like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4.2.5.
yeah,
I would say 4.25. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm right
it's
there
good.
with you. Yeah, it was very good. It was, like I said, they left a lot of stuff out.
But maybe
And
they
I
could
think-
do a 2.0.
Maybe
know?
so they could revisit it
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, the whole like leaving out the issue with the Mitchell report and the whole like testifying the baseball players testify.
They're probably doing
Yeah.
all entire Untold on just the Mitchell
Or,
report.
or another
Probably.
company, maybe another company. Maybe there's contracts behind subjects, right? So maybe 30-30 has it, or E60.
No, possibly.
You know, for all we know.
Yeah.
But it's cool they're whipping these things out. So yeah, maybe the Gators won in 10 days or so.
Yeah.
I'm gone for a couple days,
Sounds good.
and then we'll do some Gators.
Go Gators.
Where can people find you, Dean?
At Dean Saddoris.ck at Caffeine and Kilos.
Grab yourself some coffee, grab yourself some clothes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Silent Mike, where you want to find me. New episodes Wednesday and Friday. 3sb.co for some gym gear from Good Company. Support the podcast. GoodCompanyDiscord.com if you want to get involved with the community. Let us know how you like these movies and like these episodes. I think we have a lot of fun because the three of us like movies. So hit us up there, GoodCompanyDiscord.com, and I'll see you guys next time.
I am at the Jim McD on all the social media. This show is 50% facts, 4% is a word, and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time.
No, but I just found them. I might use them.
Yeah, I like those vibes.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was good and that one was great.